Element 2 handle carpentry materials, long name. Manually handle, sort and stack carpentry materials and components. So all the things you're going to use, it's about manual handling for those. So your first performance criteria is that your carpentry materials for handling are moved to a specified location applying safe manual handling techniques. So when you're getting all your formwork, they're arriving on the truck, you want to make sure that all your formwork is close to where you're going to be placing the formwork later. So you've got to get it from there through the site, close to where you need, and have it stacked safely so that when you're grabbing your formwork it doesn't fall over and injure somebody or get in the way of somebody else or damage part of the site. So you need to make sure that you're moving everything and that you're moving it safely. You don't try overloading yourself. You do make sure if it's a two-person lift that you do a two-person lift, or that if it's just a single person that you don't try and go beyond your own means. It's not necessarily just heavy things. If you're moving long lengths of formwork and you're on your own, then you need to make sure that you can balance them properly and that you do move your body around properly. Don't twist when you've got all heavy weight up on your shoulders, because then you're going to end up with back injuries. So the performance criteria is looking after your work health and safety in that respect. The second performance criteria, carpentry materials and components are sorted to suit the material type and size, stacked for ease of identification and retrieval, and for task sequence and job location in accordance with the job specs. A lot of words there. It's basically saying that you get all your components and you have them sorted out in an organised manner. You have the longest pieces over here, the shortest pieces over here, all of the pieces that might be being turned into pegs if you didn't have pegs before, all of the screws, all of your driver bits, everything you need to have for setting up your formwork, that you have it in an organised manner and that you can basically do the job sequence in a sequenced manner, so that you're not jumping around and jumping all over things and then cutting something in the wrong order, or grabbing a long piece of formwork and cutting it down when you had shorter pieces over here that would have been better for the process. Then you find out you're short one piece of long formwork that you needed. So you've got to make sure that you can do all that. That'll be a criteria. So when you're doing this and you're as part of a team, that you work out with the team where things would go. Third criteria for this one, carpentry materials and components are protected against physical and water damage and stored clear of access ways and for ease of identification, retrieval and distribution. Okay, several things in there. If possible, you want to make sure that your formwork is not stored outside. So you don't want it getting wet, you don't want it getting in the sun where it will then warp. And you don't want somebody tripping over it, damaging it. You definitely don't want a piece that you need for formwork being picked up by another chippy on site and being taken away to do for framing if you're using 2x4 formwork. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've got a stack, you have it identified. This stuff here is formwork. Okay, it's not meant for anything else. So you want people to be very sure of what's available, because you're not the only tradie on site. There's going to be a whole stack of teams on site with some jobs, so you've got to make sure that your materials are looked after carefully, and that you can basically go, okay, that stuff's needed over there, that stuff's needed over there. Most of that's going to be the foreman's job, but you might be on part of a team and you might end up being a team leader, so you need to be able to work out that eventually. But for this part of the competency, you should be able to know, I know where to find my materials, I know where to get it, I know how to get it to where I need to have it. Okay, so that's the end of basically that element. Only 3 performance criteria, and they're all pretty much a little bit of knowledge but a lot of practicality. So can you apply your knowledge when you're doing things?